Welcome to She Trusts Herself, the podcast for women who are learning to trust themselves, honor their inner voice, and choose themselves without guilt. I'm your host, Tashleem, author, guest speaker, and certified human design reader. Together, we'll explore overcoming self-doubt, building deep self-trust, personal growth, and stepping into the next version of yourself with confidence. Welcome back. In today's episode, I am talking about why asking for help can feel incredibly difficult. And if you've ever thought, I'll just do it myself, it's easy, or I don't want to be a burden, this episode is for you. Asking for help isn't actually about your capability or how strong you are. It's about conditioning. Whether you're the eldest daughter or a high-achieving woman, chances are you were taught being the strong one was your role. That meant that you were the problem solver, not only for yourself, but for others around you. Asking for help didn't feel like an option because you figured, I'll just have to figure it out on my own. And that's what you did for so many years. So let's dive straight into why asking others for help feels uncomfortable. Growing up, you likely learned that your needs come after everyone else's. Being chill and low maintenance was equivalent to being loved and accepted by others. You were the reliable, organized one, and being the strong one meant that you weren't able to fall apart because someone had to hold it all together, and majority of the time that was you. Now, as an adult, asking for help can feel super unsafe to your nervous system and also to your mind because it feels like you're in danger even though you're not. Your ego will take a bit of a hit because it goes, everyone perceives me as being this strong person who's got everything together 24/7, and asking for help will burst that illusion. What I want you to remember is your worth is not based on how productive you are or how much you can hold things together. Asking for help doesn't detract from your capability and how incredible you are as a person. It simply means that you're leaning into others the same way that you provide support and help to them. I want you to think of a moment recently where someone has come to you and they've asked for your help. Chances are your immediate response was, I'm so glad that they're asking me for help, or yes, I can help. It's not, oh, they're so weak, they can't do anything by themselves, or look at them, they're so disorganized and incapable. Majority of the time, when people ask for our help, we're willing to help. We're allowed to ask the community, friends, family, etc. for assistance, and we all need a hand sometimes. Another thing to remember is you've built an identity around being the one that people rely on, not the one that relies on others. Being independent, resilient, and strong-willed is part of your core essence. If you start asking for help, that's going to feel like it's a challenge to your identity. That's why it feels unsafe and unsettling, because you're like, who am I without all of these things? When you're in this frame of mind where asking for help feels uncomfortable, it's still costing you. You might find that you're exhausted even when life looks fine on the outside. You start feeling resentful, but you don't express it because you don't want people to see that you're struggling. So you go, I wish people would think of how they would be in this situation and think, oh, they may want an offer of assistance right now. And then when those offers don't come in, you go, if roles were reversed, I would offer them help without a second thought. It just keeps fueling that belief of I have to do everything myself. You may also take on more than your fair share. Sometimes you may even disconnect from your own needs because you go, I really want a break right now, but I have no one to help me with this, so I have to keep going regardless. Maybe it means that you've lost sleep, you've had increased stress levels, and you just don't feel like you can shut off because you go, the only person that's going to save me is me. When you're in this frame of mind, you're showing other people that you don't need help because their perception of you will be, they're capable, they don't need my help. While it's true, you don't always need help from other people, there are times when you do. So let's start reframing how we perceive asking for help, because it's not a weakness. It's not inconveniencing others. It doesn't mean that you're not capable. What it is actually letting people show up for you the way that you would for them. Creating space for connection where you let others in rather than existing behind walls of, I don't feel safe letting people in, or I don't trust them to do this for me. It's also about honoring your capacity and your energy levels, because there are times where you reach that point where you go, I actually can't do anything else. I need to delegate or ask someone else to help me out in this situation. Otherwise, things aren't going to get done, or I'm just going to reach the point of burnout.
As an added bonus, it also means that you can start to challenge that deeply seated belief that you have that asking for help is not safe. You deserve to be supported. Allow others to support you, and you start to see that asking for help is safe. And I get it. Starting to ask for help or even accept help can feel incredibly difficult when it's something that you haven't allowed yourself to do for a long time. So rather than going, I will ask people for help every single time, we can make it more sustainable and manageable by incorporating it in smaller amounts. Maybe you want to start with something small. Maybe it's something around the house where you ask your partner, hey, are you able to do X chore for me today so I can have a little bit of time to unwind? If you start with someone that will accept your request for help, that's a good starting point, because if you ask someone and they go no, then that's going to reinstill in your brain, okay, this is exactly why I don't ask for help. And we want to try and avoid that, especially so early on when we're trying to challenge this strong belief. You can also pause before automatically saying yes to things, rather than jumping in and getting into your default role of being the people pleaser or trying to help everyone else out. Just ask yourself, do I have capacity for this right now? And if the answer is no, honor it. You don't have to say yes to everything. Try and replace the language used too. Rather than saying, I'll just do it myself, it's fine, you can opt for, we'll figure it out together, or I'm going to see if someone else can help me with this right now, because you don't have to do everything by yourself. It's going to feel uncomfortable, but try and sit in that feeling of discomfort. The reason for that is you'll get to experience how it feels at the start, where you go, this feels really uncomfortable. I'm going to have to trust that this person is actually going to help me out, and it's okay if they don't do it the way that I think it should be done. Is about the outcome rather than how they get to that point. Also, just notice how you feel at the end once they actually have helped, because chances are it's going to feel like there's a weight that's been lifted off your shoulders, where it's like, oh, I'm so grateful that they were able to help me with that, and it's one less thing that I have to worry about. Another thing to keep in mind is just paying attention to where you're still over-functioning. So by that I mean sometimes it's not necessarily asking other people for help, but it's jumping in and saving the day where you don't need to. So someone might say, hey, I've got a problem with this, or maybe they haven't done something, and you go, okay, I could jump in right now because I see the bigger picture and I can see the consequence of someone not helping or this thing not getting done. But you can take a step back and go, I don't need to be the savior all the time. Let's just see how this unfolds. Because sometimes we need to let others, in a kind way, see the consequences of their own actions. It's not up to you to be the savior for everyone else all of the time. They need to start solving things for themselves. So it's a bit of tough love there. I want you to remember, you're not meant to do life alone. And I know for a lot of years you've likely felt like you need to carry everything by yourself because you don't want to be a burden, or maybe there were times throughout your life where you have genuinely asked for help and it's been unanswered. In those moments where you truly needed someone else, it felt like they weren't there. But what I want you to remember, and something that I've had to work on personally, is just because they weren't there for you in those moments doesn't mean that you need to limit other people from helping you moving forward. It's okay to ask for help and to allow yourself to be supported the way that you support other people. You don't have to be the comforter all of the time. You can be the one that's comforted. You're not going to lose yourself. You're not going to be perceived differently by other people. And if you are, that's a reflection of them. It's just being honest about your capacity and your capabilities, because sometimes you just need a hand with things, and that makes you human. You're not here to be a robot and to do everything yourself. If you're ready to explore who you are outside of the roles that you've been carrying, this is exactly the work that I do with my one-on-one human design readings and in my upcoming program. I want you to remember, you don't have to keep doing it all alone, and you are capable, but it doesn't mean that you have to carry it. If this episode resonated with you, I'd love for you to subscribe or leave a comment, and I hope to see you tune in next week for another episode.
And that's a wrap on another episode. If this one resonated with you, I'd love for you to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss any future conversations, and share it with someone else who's learning to trust herself again. You can connect with me on Instagram, Tash, where I share more about self-trust, personal growth, and human design. If you'd like to go deeper, you can explore my books and offerings, all designed to support you as you build self-trust and step into the next version of yourself with confidence. Until next time, please remember that you are not too much, or too little. You're just you. Keep choosing yourself.